Okay, and welcome everybody to XLR Tier 1 Round 2 here at the Hungarian Grand Prix circuit. I am Solid Elite and I will be leading you through this race, through the qualifying session and the race, and today I'm joined by Numicorn.
Hello.
We do have a convenient advert right now as well, which is always lovely. But, well, if you aren't familiar with the format we've got here, we've got a full qualifying session. So that's Q1, Q2, Q3. Much to our despair. We have to sit through the whole thing. But hey-ho, we've got plenty of time to talk about what's happened so far in the one round we've had early on in the season. And, well, we can talk about, well, the end to the 2023 real-life Formula 1 season. That did happen this afternoon if you're in the UK. Or most places apart from, like, the places that aren't in European time. I think that's probably a, well, terrible way to put it. But, well, in our first qualifying session of the evening then, looks like we've got Haas in the Red Bull leading the charge for the first laps on the circuit. He's at 27.8 through that first sector. We can compare that with D10, of course, they are on slightly different tyre compounds. So only 0.4 of a second between Haas and D10, despite the tyre compound and perhaps a slight skill gap as well. But to be fair to Haas, he's actually really improved in the last couple of seasons, and he is driving really well at the moment. He won a Tier 1 race. Somehow, I still am rather mystified at how that managed to happen, but hey, it happened, and he drove well, and he's been driving well in Tier 2. And, well, let's see if he can replicate that win this evening. I mean, we are back with some rain for the race, according to my incredibly reliable weather forecast system of driver typing. As Haas goes up with a 17.3. Good effort from him. We'll see what D10 can match with on the soft compound tyres. A 16.6. Bearing in mind that's 0.7 of a second on a different tyre compound. It is obviously a short track, so we have to be aware of that. Pyro just coming to the line now. He goes a 17.2. He is also on the mediums, only a 10th clear of Haas at the moment then. And looks like Fuzzle will be coming to the line. Next in, the Mercedes on another set of medium compound tyres and drops behind both Haas and Pyro with a 17.7. So I'm sure he might consider going again. Luke the Blade now on a set of softs. Goes about 0.3 back from D10. The two Red Bulls actually in P3 and P4, which is a fairly good effort from them so far in the session. Here we go, Rocky to the line, up into P3 with the set of softs of 17.0. Looks like the Aston Martin of Stefan will be coming across next, a 29.6. Not quite the pace that we usually see from him. I'm sure there's probably 1 or 2 seconds left in the tank there. And he'll be going yet again. Looks like one of the...
I think he's going again now.
Yeah. He saved up some energy. He must have backed off or invalidated perhaps a little earlier in the lap. Power GT, the fastest of the medium tyre runners at the moment, with a 17.0, 2.5 tenths clear of Pyro. So we're back Flame, who spent probably about half of his life practicing, apparently, for this race. But in a 17.0 as well, just 3 thousandths clear of Power GT, and enough to send him up into P4. To be honest, that could even be enough to make it through into Q2. Not really sure what the cut-off point's going to be. It depends what everyone else does with their tyres. If they decide about mediums, softs, it's sort of all up in the air a little bit, really. Right, let's go to Stefan. Oh, sorry, who was that?
What?
Did you say something to me?
We don't have sneak this week, so we won't see any full wets out. And
yeah.
There goes Stefan, 16.5. On the mediums as well, that's very impressive.
That is honestly a really good time. But obviously we are yet to see some of our, like we call them, the heavy hitters set some times yet. Shakos is on an outlap. I'd also expect Liam Wilder, Jack Imac to be up there for the fight as well. I think Liam's sort of started to find his stride a bit more compared to last season, and now he's going to be up there battling with Jack Imac for victories yet again, throwing a bit of spicy Shakos in the mix for poles as well. We're looking at a very, very exciting season here in XLR. Of course, we are season 4 for our first tier. We've had only 2 champions in 3 seasons, Liam with a double, and then Jackie Imac, who doesn't like cheese that isn't melted, did win a championship last year, and Unitos going up into P9 then with a 17.6 on his set of tyres. Well, I think we completely... Oh no, that was Stefan. Oh, bear in mind that was Stefan on a slightly older set of tyres as well. So, you know, that shows he's got some good pace. Giannuzzi not using ERS on this first lap, sending a bit of a banker. Shakos is sure to upset the nest of drivers currently having lap times set. In fact, there's Fuzzle going up into P3 with his Mercedes with a 16.9.
Pyro also jumping up.
Yes, indeed, Pyro. Yeah, a good improvement from Pyro as well. So it's a real mixture of tyres out there on the circuit at the moment. To be honest, it looks mostly yellow mediums rather than the red striped softs. everyone kind of choosing what they want to go through on. I mean, Hungary's got pretty high tyre wear.
It's actually perfectly half and half, mediums and softs.
Oh. I should probably count a bit. Well, obviously Martins isn't going to set a lap. Does he have a qualifying ban, or does he just want to start from the back?
Yeah, he just wanted to start from the back. And then they get Jack to 59.
Yeah, that's He doesn't make qualifying fun, but he makes the race quite fun. So, you know, we'll give him that. Right, looks like Giannuzzi, who's used about 9% of his energy. Oh, actually, I think what Giannuzzi was doing is he was going around, and then he's going to be actually doing a decent lap time with some ERS this time around, perhaps warming those tyres up just a little bit more. Right, Naomi, you're a little quiet, so I'm going to increase your volume a bit. I don't know if that's me. Here we are. Doo-doo-doo.
My actual microphone and not my phone. I don't know. Anyway,
it's fine. I've increased your volume, so you should be. I think you sound much better now, much louder. Sorry, rather than better. But well, Shakos will not be improving on.
Has it made any difference now?
Yeah, it's much better now. Much better now.
So this is my regular.
Yes, I think I had you turned down quite a lot. Right, here we are. D10 is going to be coming towards the end of a flying lap at the moment. I think is this another set of softs for D10? Interesting that he's burning through those sets. I know, it might be the same set actually. 16.2 for D10 then puts him up to that second position. Liam Boulder moving up into that second position, displacing D10 on those mediums. Just 2/10 back from Shakos. Could be a pretty exciting fight for pole. We'll have to see what Mr. Jack Imac has when he comes out onto the circuit. Jensen moving up into P4. He's been away from XLR for some time now and is starting to make his return. And I must say, is doing a pretty good job at it so far. I think he scored points last week. I want to say he scored points. Again, I wasn't even there, so I wouldn't even remember.
I think he did.
I think he did. You know what? It's very easy to check. Ooh, results tier 1.
No, he finished P11.
Oh,
P11.
no,
And that would have been P12 because of Power GT randomly being dumped off the standings.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, he'll be looking for some points this weekend, let's put it that way. Petter Flat seems to have backed off of his lap then. Luke the Blade, is he on a flyer at the moment? I think he's 5 thousandths down through the first sector. Everyone telling Shakos to just do Q3 on mediums. I think he might select those softs when it comes to that third qualifying session. Actually, Luke the Blade's going to be pulling into the pits, despite the fact he must have lost a bit of time through that third and final sector. Well, I think Petterflat is going to be going again. He's backed off of his time. We've got Pyro on an hour lap on a set of soft compound tyres. We've also got tech support on a flying lap. And Jack Imac in the Ferrari, also preparing to begin a flying lap. Well, tech support is currently our only driver on he's our second driver on a flyer. But he's the furthest along out of the 3 that will be about on flying lap shortly. In fact, actually, Petterflat backed off so much, Jack Imac overtook him. But then let's ride with tech support on these medium compound tyres that he has got on his car through the 6-7 chicane, where he turns in left, hard left for turn 8, swinging back to the right for turn 9. The car desperately crying under the huge amounts of lateral force you're putting through the tyres in this part of the circuit, wearing that rubber down to the lowest levels you possibly dare before the tyre bursts, putting a spout of power down and losing the rear ever so slightly as tech support as he smoothly transitions his way through apexes to exits like it's a knife through butter. Round that final corner of turn 14 comes tech support now with the DRS active, going up into P4 with a 16.4. Very respectable effort, to be honest, for tech support. Jack Imac has invalidated his lap across the middle sector, and his
Jack cutting some grass.
Yeah, he's cutting some grass. Did he get into a bit of a block tangle with Petter Flat, because they're both very close together and Petter's backed off yet again?
No, Jack started ahead. He can't have done.
Yeah, I think Petter Flats, perhaps he may. I'm not sure what's gone on there, but it's certainly not pretty for either driver. And Petter Flat has given up and will be into the pit lane then. Jack, I'm sure, is he going to have enough time to recharge his battery? Yes, he will, and he will be going again then. He's got to be careful he doesn't get in anyone's way, to be completely honest. There we go. We just saw, who was that? Pyro going up into P2 then on a set of softs with a 16.1, finding plenty of time from the different tyre compounds. Looks like we've also got Fuzzle on a flying lap. He's through that middle sector at the moment. The Mercedes will be looking to try and match what his teammates got. He's currently about half a second away from tech support on the same compound of tyre. It'll be interesting to see on this set of mediums where the Mercedes will sit. His teammates let him through very nicely then, as coming through into that final corner of turn 14 and into the pit lane for Fuzzle. Oh, he was improving, but there we go. So tech support's also going for a second lap then at the moment. He had a bit of a cool down run. I'm sure Pyro will be into the pits. Giannuzzi currently on a flyer on a set of softs. Jack Imac is just actually behind Giannuzzi, and I think he's backed off yet again. So I won't be surprised if Jack Imac just pulls in and put boots on a set of soft compound tyres now for the rest of Q1. But in the meantime, Giannuzzi, who did not actually improve on that second medium run, is on these soft compound tyres and pretty much has no choice with only 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the session. It's best that he gets in a good time now and can leave the bottom 5 eliminations to drivers that sometimes we perhaps don't always see in the latter stages of qualifying, or guys that do make rather large mistakes. Giannuzzi up into P8 then. That's a pretty good effort from him. Oh, tech support, we just caught him having a massive slide. He's done a really good job at catching that. That is through... I think that's through actually turn 9. He's had that massive slide, possibly even turn 10. He's done a good job to catch that together. Really, it almost looked like that was going to be certainly round for tech support, but it's fair enough. He managed to collect that car and not find his way into the barriers. Haas invalidated his lap and is preparing to go again, and he is currently safe. With Unitos, Petter Flat, Jack Imac and Martin. Well, Martins will definitely be eliminated in the first part of qualifying. He was looking for a bit of a last to first challenge. We should also note that we were supposed to have 20 drivers, but I think, did someone's wheel break?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's why. I think that's what I saw anyway. I was too busy eating to really focus on what the message actually said. But here we go then. Haas. It's going to be interesting to see. Oh, we also don't have any on today. It's weird. I usually will see on here. I'm rather sad. I'm missing my Sundays without on. But there we go. Switching between drivers far too fast, as plenty of the cars coming round to begin what will be their final flying lap attempts. Plenty of guys coming on outlap. Stefan on an outlap. Fuzzle, Luke the Blade, Rocky, Sweatback Flame, Zach is Beast. Also on outs, we've got Power GT actually on a flyer somewhere around the circuit. I'm sure we'll be jumping to him when it's close to crossing the line. Unitos, 3/10 up on his time at the moment. That could be enough to displace Haas, who is really just very, very close behind him and probably actually losing a good bit of time. Pyro decides he doesn't need to set another lap, and I think he's probably justified in that. 1:30 left in the session now. Unitos coming to the line will probably be his final effort. P15. Haas, where did he jump up to? P9. Good effort from him, to be fair. I think he'll be probably very much safe with that attempt. So Luke the Blade then starts his final flying lap. In fact, Power GT is second down on his time at the moment. Looks like the Alpine and Sweatback Flame just beginning that final flying lap. Rocky will also follow suit in a moment's time. That is Giannuzzi coming round. He's currently half a second up on his time at the moment, and that should send him nicely up the order to P4. That should provide a nice safety net for Giannuzzi then. The Aston Martin of Petter Flat, sorry, we just missed him across the line, up into P7 with a 16.4. He should definitely be safe with a time like that. Then we're looking to the Alfa Romeo of Zaki's Beast, who will be starting his final flying lap. Then we got Stefan, who was also late to the party to begin those final flying laps. The Ferrari of Jack Imac then is going to get to the line in time. He's pretty much got one shot at it with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Perhaps we might see a shock Jack Imac exit here, and I think that would be incredibly interesting to see how that play out for the race. But Unitos is actually going to get one more go at it here, and we'll see what he can do. Fuzzle is going to be coming to the line now, up into P6. Maybe Haas could be under some pressure. He's not going to get to the line to improve, so it's now all these guys' times are the ones that count. Sweatback Flame going to move himself far away from the danger zone and up into P8 then. Looks like the AlphaTauri of Rocky, he's going to remain in P14. Could be perhaps a little bit at risk for Rocky. That'll be Haas. Giannuzzi is more than safe, so we can stay far away from the Welshman as well. We wait to see what Zaki's Beast's time can be like. Can he grab himself out of that bottom 5? He comes round that final corner now. Honestly, it's not looking all that fast for Zaki's Beast. Where's he going to put this car? P15, he does. He pushes Power GT into that elimination zone then. Unitos, a 10th up at the moment, might still push Zaki's Beast further still. Jack Imac improving, I'm sure, to the fastest time of the session. Unitos 4/10 of a second up. Zaki's Beast is eliminated. I'm not sure if Unitos has got any more speed left in the car. Is he going to be able to take his teammate down into the bottom 5 and eliminate him for the first part of qualifying? Unitos to the line. No, he can't. He lost 2/10 in that middle sector. And in the final sector, sorry. And by the skin of his teeth, Rocky is through. Zaki's Beast, Unitos, Power GT, surprisingly, and Martin's become our Q1 eliminations. On to Q2 we go, as I'm going to grab a quick glass of water. Mute. And morning to you too. Hope you are doing well. If it's morning wherever you are, it's currently almost 8 o'clock in the evening here in the United Kingdom. Then that makes it about close to 9 o'clock in most of Europe. Everywhere else, I have no idea, but it's certainly not 9 o'clock. Well, Jack Imac set the fastest time of the session, and only 5 thousandths faster than Chakos, who actually was on a medium compound of tyre as well. I think El Plan is going to be coming in, but he'll be starting at the back of the grid.
I mean, El Plan had a quali ban anyway, so he would be starting at the back of the grid whether he joined late or not.
Why did El Plan get a quali ban already?
For being on slicks in the practically full wet conditions and causing a safety car.
Oh, El Plan. So actually, I think something did happen between Petter Flat and Jack Imac.
Yeah, it did. That's although Petter Flat was not very happy about it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, El Plan's seat is the one that's free as well. Wait, no, he's not in Williams anymore. Never mind. I forgot. El Plan's not in Williams anymore. He was last season.
Yeah. I can't remember. Who does he drive for this year?
AlphaTauri, which isn't free. But he'll just have to drive for Williams.
Reserve took his seat. What a shame. Right. Our... Oh, Pyro then will be the first to set a flying lap in this session. Looks like D10 will be closely following him. I think then we've actually got Haas. Let's see if Haas can get through into Q3. I think he had some pretty good... He had some relatively good pace, I think. But I'm not quite sure. It might just not be enough. Because he was... I can't remember exactly where he rounded out in Q2. But I don't think it was in the top 10. But we'll see how it plays out for him. Our favourite Dutchman, Liam Buolder, also on the mediums in this in the only one on mediums so far, actually, in the Q2 stage of the qualifying. Very interesting that he's chosen those mediums, saving some softs perhaps for the race, perhaps predicting some late safety cars. Oh, Unisos ran out of fuel. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Yeah, it was just a couple of tenths through that final sector that really cost it all. Yeah, it was a real shame. Yeah, it's unlucky for Power GT, but hey, you might win driver of the day this time if you make a good drive through. That's one positive of having a bad qualifying. You've got a higher chance of winning driver of the day if you make it through. If you've got that good pace when it comes down to the race. And Pyro is certainly displayed some pretty promising signs of pace in the early part of qualifying. He definitely looked pretty rapid compared to a lot of the other guys out here in the midfield part of the grid. Of course, he is currently setting those purple sectors, being the first driver. Very smooth inputs to the corners, making sure he gets that car rotated very low in third gear through that final corner. As he sets a 16.4, that's a pretty good time actually. As D10 a 17.3 only. D10's had a pretty poor lap actually. Haas puts in a 17.5. Then our favourite Dutchman, Liam Buolder, he goes even faster than Pyro with a 16.2, despite the medium tyres being on his car. Sweatback Flame on a 16.0, moving up to P1. Rocky in P4 then, although all of them are displaced by Stefan, who is only 2.5 tenths behind Sweatback, who's put in a mighty lap, might I add. We see Fuzzle moving up into P5 now. The Red Bull of Luke the Blade will be next across the line, who moves up into P5, actually displacing Fuzzle. Very nice times from the first Red Bull driver. Well, that's all the guys that are currently on flying laps. As we see Jensen and Giannuzzi preparing to be out on the circuit. Wondering if anyone's actually going for a second attempt. Sweatback certainly isn't. Stefan, he's driving fast, but I'm not sure he's blinking on fuel.
He's 11 seconds down. He's
not. 11 seconds down is not justifiable.
And he doesn't have the fuel either, so he'll be in the pits. Yeah,
Liam doesn't have fuel either. Luke the Blade, 7 seconds down. Fuzzle not got the fuel. Rocky's invalidated anyway. D10's already in the garage, so too is Haas. And well, we've got Shakos, Jensen, Jack Imac, and Giannuzzi all on out laps at the moment then. So let's get ready for those guys to come to the line, and let's see what sort of times they can set. If they can displace the guys that have currently put in times on the board. I think it's actually going to be Jets. No, it's going to be who's going to be first. Yeah, I think it's Giannuzzi.
Yeah, because it's Sweatback playing ahead of him on his way in. Oh, so I've got this cable to connect my microphone to my phone, but it just doesn't work. So.
What? How does the cable not work?
So yeah. PlayStation app doesn't you can't use external mics for some reason. Like it connects to my phone and my phone recognizes it, but can't use it for the actual reason I bought it for.
Sure, you can send that back. Was it an Amazon thing?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you can send that back then.
Yeah, I'll just send it back, probably.
Use all the money on Fanatec. So the game says it's going to be sunshine for 60 minutes. Well, I'm sure our race will probably be over 60 minutes, so we might get some late rain, if any at all. In fact, I'm actually kind of hoping for rain. I know it sounds weird, but I'm not the one who has to drive through it, so I don't really care. I get to sit here and just talk about it. And, well, I think rain would be pretty exciting. We obviously, I don't think we didn't see rain in round 1, but I've had a few league races recently.
No, we did. It was wet all race. It was wet.
Oh yeah, it was a wet race,
one.
wasn't it? Well, it'd be fun. The drivers are warmed up in the rain, so why not? Gianuzzi coming to the line now. P6 for him is the best he can manage, and that'll be Petter Flack just beginning a flying lap. Jensen invalidated and will be pulling into the pit lane then. Jack Imac will be next to cross that line. Went up into P1 last time he crossed this dotted line. He only is P2 this time, unable to displace Sweatback Flame, who put in a mighty effort. I think that's...
Yeah, but Shaq's in the last corner. So...
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be P2, but a good effort from Sweatback Flame is a 15.4, 6/10 of a second.
15.4.
That's pretty fast.
Crazy.
That's not even pretty fast. That's extremely fast. Everybody now out on a set of soft compound tyres. Nobody choosing the mediums. In fact, even the Dutchman Leon Bualda ditching those tyres as Petter Flack is going to be the next driver to cross that line. He is currently coming through the hairpin of turn 13 now. That car is not really responding. He's really having to take jabs at the steering to get it to turn in. And the 16.3, it's a fairly good effort, but is it going to be enough? So we've got Gianuzzi into the pit lane. Pyro's just invalidated at the dreaded turn 4. Liam on that outlap coming to the line next. Jack Imac's going to get out of the way of his teammate D10 if we can scroll to him fast enough to cross the line. D10 moves up to P2 with a 15.8. Very nice time indeed from D10. Perhaps the track ramping up just that little bit more now as we see tech support coming across around that final corner to cross the line. Up to P2 with a 15.7. So those numbers the wrong way around for a second. 3/10, exactly 3/10 between him and Shakos. I think he'll be relatively pleased with that attempt. Rocky will just be starting a lap then after he was less than pleased, I think, with his first time around the circuit. Pyro into the pit lane then. Puts a flat down on his time. We've got the Alpine of Jensen going out again. He's burnt through a couple of sets of tyres, has Jensen, which I don't think is going to be too ideal for him. In fact, Liam's actually going to be setting a lap time first. He just came across to get a nice aerial shot of that turn 13, 14 and 12. Sort of complex a little bit there. As Liam Bualda around that final corner now, activates the DRS, goes up to P3 with a 15.8. So, if we ignore Chakos, everyone's, the P2 to P4 are actually pretty close together at the moment.
If we ignore Shakos, it's like just the XLR equivalent of everyone saying it. Like, if we just ignore Verstappen,
yeah,
what basically everyone's been saying every race, saying like, if we just ignore Verstappen, it was a good race.
Yeah, that's the thing. Rocky then, on his second time round on this set of tyres, moves into the top 10, but only just. He's going to have to go again, really, if he wants to secure a place in the into Q3. I think if I was Jack Imac, I wouldn't be quivering, but I would perhaps be a little bit wary, because I'm only in P6, and well, if he wants to have a good shot at winning the title, he needs to be in Q3 every single time. Because obviously, if you're further back on the grid, you've got more numpties around you.
He's only 4 tenths ahead of the drop zone, so yeah, he's gonna need to get a lap together.
As Jensen moves up into P3, pushing Jack down into P7. He's less than ideal for him. I think we're going to see perhaps one more lap from quite a few of these drivers. The guys on track now, to be honest, with only 3 minutes and 48 seconds to go, it'll be very, very tight for them to box, set a lap, in lap, box, out lap, before the checkered flag. I mean, obviously it's a relatively short track, so it's possible. Well, actually, it'll probably take you about 3:45 because you've got to take, let's say, a minute 15 lap time, and then let's say a minute 30 in lap. That's 2:45 already. That's not going to be enough time to set an out lap. So this will be that last attempt for quite a few of these drivers. As Rocky's into the lane, then he can probably get out again. To be honest, a 16.2 cutoff. I think it could be even higher. I think it might be a little bit higher than a 16.2. But not by much. Just because how fast everyone's going. I mean, P8 is a 16.2. I think with a lot of guys. Actually, to be fair, I'm not sure how many guys will come out of the pits. So, yeah, maybe a 16.0, 16. I think probably maybe 16.1ish. I think is a safe time. I think if you're in the 15s, you're probably going to be safe. But still no guarantees. I mean, it's going to be pretty fast. As Haas is only able to manage a 16.782. And he is most likely out of qualifying then, I think. I don't think he'll be able to...
Unless he's fuel to go again. I think he might be fuel to go again. And he's just charging up and he'll go for another one.
Yeah, he might be. Never too sure, to be honest. Pyro up into P6 then, with a 15.9, should be maybe safe, but still, we're not 100% sure. Jack Imac on an out lap now, it's pretty critical for him to get out because he is going to be under some pressure. It's going to be really interesting to see who is able to make it out of this bottom 5, as it's a very, very competitive grid. And to be honest, at this point, almost anyone could be going out. Definitely Haas on the recharge. Where are we? Fuzzle will be next to cross the line. He'll be desperate to set a lap. Of course, we've got Jack Imac that's just coming to round that final corner now as we speak, but through turn 12 comes Fuzzle, the driver currently in P14. To get into that top 10, he needs to find about 4 tenths of a second, and he might need to find a further 3 tenths to see himself safe come the checkered flag. Let's see what Fuzzle can do then. It's going to be a 16.1 into that top 10. That's a fairly decent effort. Petaflat moves only to P10, and that'll be hit. Petaflat could see himself out here. He could be very close to the boundary line, so I think that's going to be risky for Petaflat. Stefan just beginning that final flying lap now. We've got a couple of the McLarens. So Pyro's managed to save up the ERS to go again. Liam is still in the garage. So P2, 3 and 4 have decided to stay in the garage. Everybody else is out on the circuit. I mean, even Sweatback Flame in P7 out there going again. We see D10 on his outlap then with only 20 seconds left to go. Giannuzzi manages to cross the line in time. Rocky is also going to make the timing line. Jack Imac only 2 tenths improvement at the moment on this lap, but he's got a bit more time on the circuit to improve from his current position in a 16.0. Jack Imac to comfortably make it in. Yes, he does, a P2. He should probably be safe with that, I'd imagine. Fuzzle will not be improving then, and he's got a Red Bull behind him. I think that is Luke the Blade, who is close to 2 tenths up at the moment, and that's not going to be enough to get him through unless he can find even more time through this final part of the circuit. Luke the Blade now to the line. He does. He finds enough time, and Petaflat's not improving, so Petaflat is out of qualifying then. Haas, is he improving enough? No, he's not. Just
No.
very close for Haas.
Ooh,
We see
wow,
Stefan
wow.
go up, and Luke the Blade is now out of qualifying. We look to see who is next to cross the line. I think that was Shakos, who goes even faster somehow. Swept Flame in the Alpine will be next. He goes up into P7, should find himself safe. D10 also finds himself safe. Liam Boulder could be under some trouble here. Petaflat in. Oh no, Liam will be fine. Oh, Giannuzzi just makes it through. And wow.
Actually, no, he was actually 3 tenths off. 3 tenths away.
Yeah, quite a way back, but wow, it got pretty close there. If I was Liam Boulder, I'd be sat in the car seeing these cars come across the line and be a bit shaky, but yo, wow, that cut-off time at 15.8. That is a high cut-off time in Q2. Much higher than we predicted. And well, only half a second separates the top 10, which is pretty good, especially considering Shakos was the guy that finished P1 with a pretty good lap. And well, everyone, no real shock exits. Petaflat, maybe a little shock, but everyone else, they're not quite on the level of these guys that are currently in Q3. And well, L-Plan leaving the session, he just gives up on his quali ban. Well then, I think it's going to be a very exciting Q3. I think still probably quite a few drivers could be perhaps in the consideration for pole, but as per usual, my money's on Shakos.
Putting your money on Shakos is like saying Verstappen's going to win the race.
It's a particularly safe option. I mean, could we see a surprise pole? L-Plan will be driving for the race, but he joined late and has a quality ban anyway for doing L-Plan. So, yeah, it's not really a big deal that he didn't set a qualifying time. No, that'll be fine. He'll just take a different car. I think his points will probably...
Sorry, I just forgot what session we were in.
Q3. Well, either that or you just swap car. Well, you can't swap cars, can you? Because you're going Q3. So.
No.
Well, it'll be alright. That's Giannuzzi's job to make sure he doesn't mess up the standings or like that. Make sure he counts the right. Make sure he counts the right constructors' points. I think it'd probably be ideal if our plan DNS just to make it easy. we want our plan.
There's never been any corrections made to the standings ever. It's always been completely correct first time.
We are always right. We are never wrong.
Exactly. Whenever we get it wrong, it's just testing. It's testing people to see if they notice.
No, Zen's wheel broke, which is why he wasn't.
Got it fixed.
Oh what?
He's trying to ask Pyro if he can join.
L-Plan will be booted then.
Currently got no response.
That's because Pyro's in Q3.
Zen or it's going to be Zen or L-Plan joining. I don't know which.
I would probably say Zen because L-Plan hasn't done attendance, so. I don't know.
Yeah, and also it's Zen's seat that's the one free seat, the Williams seat.
Yeah, I mean, I just do the talking. I don't do the decisions, so.
I just do the talking, I don't do the decisions.
I don't think I'd want to be making the decisions anyway. No, if he doesn't. No, if he's not even in the session, then it won't go through. I don't know. That is up to the real admins to decide. I'm just the talky one. So Pyro then.
I'm just the talky one.
Put that in the quotes, Chandler. No, so Pyro then will be on the first driver to set the flying lap in the session. Then, in fact, we got Jensen. we got Jensen, Shakos, and Liam Wilder that are coming out a little later. Tech support coming out perhaps even later than that. Jack Imac and Giannuzzi remaining in the pit lane. Perhaps they haven't got a set of tyres, or they're just dawdling around. Forgot that it's Q3. Jack Imac's remembered it's Q3. Giannuzzi, I think, is just too busy typing because I've seen his name ping up on my phone a couple of times. But then we wait to see what Pyro's first attempt here in Q3 can be. He comes round the final corner now. Pedal to the metal for the McLaren driver. It's a 16-6. A very valiant effort. His D10 did put in a 16.4, but it was an invalid lap. So D10 2/10 faster through his first attempt. It's a shame it was an invalid one. Sorry, we're just going to miss Sweatback Flame. In fact, we are 15.8 from Sweatback Flame. In fact, Pyro put in a rather poor attempt. Oh my goodness, a 15.4 coming out from Stefan. The track looking pretty fast at the moment, and a lot of drivers improving to some pretty ludicrous times. Jensen will be the next to actually become a driver on the timing board. We've got a couple of guys behind that are setting, that are just beginning their flying laps then, but Jensen will be the first one to cross the line to set a timed lap. He comes around that final corner of turn 14 right now. Powers with the DRS. He goes up to P2 with a 15.5, a very good effort indeed. Let's see what Liam Wilder can do. The current championship leader round that final corner. Liam Wilder activates the DRS. He goes to provisional pole position by only 0.005 of a second. Very, very close. We just saw Jack Imac start the out lap, start the flying lap. Giannuzzi also beginning that flying lap too. Pyro pulling into the pit lane, getting all shaky and loosey-goosey on the entry, which I think would have been slightly scary for him. Let's see who's going to be next. I think it's actually going to be this man right here, Shakos. Let's see how fast he can go through this final session in qualifying, through on the first attempts of all of the drivers. Shakos comes round that final corner now. He activates the DRS. He uses that Ferrari engine. It's a 15.1. An almighty time, 0.3 clear of Liam Wilder. Next will be Tech Support, who's actually backed off and will be going just now for his flying lap. Let's see who else is on a flyer. Jack Imac, 53.8 through the middle part of the lap. He is currently looking to try and displace Shakos somewhere. Somehow he's got to find the time that Shakos does. No one can really compete with the man that currently sits on provisional pole. But can Jack Imac do the impossible? No, he can't. P4 with a 15.4. That's still a very good time, and I think he'd be pretty happy with that on the starting grid. Giannuzzi also going round again to start another lap. With Tech Support currently in the middle sector after he had backed off. About 80% of his energy was left. He is going now. And let's see how high up the order he can go. Of course, slightly old on these tyres. Very slidey on the rear end of that Mercedes. It's just sort of like kicking out a little bit. Yes, you can see just... You just see just how loose it is. And now, perhaps that's what happened on his first lap as well. And I think Tech Support will probably not be setting another lap through... Well, he probably won't go for another one on these tyres. Yeah, indeed, he pulls into the pit lane.
Oh, didn't get around.
Oh, yes, he is. We just caught the end of that. On the exit of turn 4, perhaps he clouted the curb just a little bit too hard. Oh, L Plan will be driving. Oh, I don't know.
Vince Shakos just isn't human.
Well, he's certainly more machine than man at qualifying. Well, I think the thing is with the we've got 8 ads in a row.
I only got 1.
I have 8. That's not fair.
Difflex, it gives us money.
Yeah, but it doesn't go to Fig. It doesn't go to our wages.
Guess pirate wages.
All the millions he's making
It
from the
might
league.
eventually go to our wages if we start earning him enough.
Congratulations, guys. You've earned a Freddo. To be honest, I'll take a Freddo. It's more than nothing. No, we do it for the joy. We don't do it for the money. But yeah, well, 8 ads. That is a lot.
Depending much earning money.
How much does the Twitch make? Like 3p?
Bit more than that, but yeah.
5p?
Oh. Let's see how many pennies have we earned?
Ooh. Right, as we patiently wait for the first driver to get out for the second part, with only 7 of the drivers actually setting representative
In the
times.
last 30 days, we've earned 2p.
That's a penny each. What are you going to do with your penny?
All the time, we've earned 20p.
That's not even enough for a Freddo. Oh, it's that damn inflation. It's inflation. Oh, it's clearly the government's fault. Otherwise, we'd be able to afford a Freddo. I mean, who would buy it? Let's say I bought it and I'd split it in half. I'd ship a half to you all the way, all those many hundreds of miles. It'd probably have melted. Oh my gosh, they're not even pence. They're cents. Oh dear. Right, yeah, the shipping cost would literally be more than what we earn. But hey ho, we love a bit of Wonga here in XLR, and well, let's hope one day we can be actually earning pounds instead of pennies. I think that's certainly a goal, but hey, we've got to grow at some points. We've got to start somewhere, and well, I think everyone's here for every step of the way of that. We need Lawrence Stroll to invest in the league. Shall I just send him a DM? I've got his.
Just message him on Discord.
Yeah, I've got him on speed. I've got him on speed Discord. I just say, "Sup, Lauren." I'll just say, "Sup, Lol. Do you want to sponsor the league?" Just give me all the money in the world. To be fair, I could take £1 million right now. I'd be happy with that. We could invest in graphics. Oh
We
dear.
can invest in actually decent PCs for us, so the stream isn't in 4. So we get more than 4 pixels on the stream. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine you've got gaming PC and streaming PC? Ooh.
Oh, if you get a good gaming PC, then it can handle streaming perfectly fine.
Oh my goodness, Jack IMAX just picked up a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. Oh, Jack.
Going too slowly and everyone just not wanting to pass him.
Yeah. Well, he won't be able to get that place back, so that is unfortunate for Jack IMAC. Jensen currently 400th up on his lap time at the moment. That is not going to quite see him improve up. He needs about another 10th, and I think a couple hundredths for good luck. And even if he makes let's say a 10th and a half up on this time now, he's going to see himself now close to P2. That's just how close these guys are currently on the circuit. But then here we go with Jensen coming round the final corner now, the first driver to set the second set of lap times in Q3. Jensen to the line, does remain in P5, lost some time, did not manage to improve. Stefan, who does currently sit P3, is currently 0.2 of a second up on his time at the moment. This is going to see him up into P2, but it's not going to quite get him to that provisional pole position that he so desires, so desperately wants, as now he comes round the final corner, pedal all the way to the floor, be looking to maximise the speed, maximise the time. He is unfortunately not able to displace Shakos. It will be, was that Pyro that did go up into P3. Good effort from him. Shakos goes even faster with a 14.9. They're all starting to cross the line, all starting to improve massively. Liam Boulder only about 0.2 of a second up. That shoots him up into P2. Then we're going to see Jack Imac into that second position, D10, into P7. Tech Support moving up into P5. Giannucci will be the last to cross the line, and I'm not sure if he actually improved his position. We didn't quite get to see. No, he didn't. And well, surprise, surprise, it's Shakos on pole.
I've seen that one coming.
Well, Liam Boulder is actually going to start alongside him with Jack Imac having his falling asleep penalty. To be fair, he didn't even actually block anyone. He was just in the train. And no one passed.
And then it would be that the people behind him didn't go past him.
Yeah. I mean, unless we have a lobby restart, which I don't think we're going to have.
Nah.
Jack Imac is going to start a little lower.
Things like this.
Yeah. The game's just the game, really. Stefan will finished in P4, Tech Support P5, and bearing in mind it's only 0.7 to the mighty Shakos from P10. It's pretty close.
Front row, then.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the race does play out. Yeah.
It's not rain, but it does suddenly appear to be overcast. Could have rain on the way.
Yeah, indeed we might. And, well, I think it's perhaps forecast that towards the end of the session, as we've got a few minutes here. We've got about 4 minutes before we're going to get started, so I think it's time for a bathroom break. I don't know if you want to also use the facilities.
It's time for realising I forgot to fill up my water bottle break.
We'll be back shortly when we've finished doing our stuff.
With the weather, it's going to be very much cloudy, and there's 7 bars on the thing, and then the first 5 of them are all clouds. And then towards the end, it's forecast for rain. But at that stage, if we have safety cars, it may extend out to that point. But I think if it stays a clean race, we may not even get the rain, and the forecast may just be wrong. So that will be an interesting one to watch out for. Potential rain on the way. I think the forecast is on perfect, so yeah. So the rain will actually be coming at that stage that it says it will. Previous times it's been forecast for rain, and then we've just not had it. Although this time it's on perfect, so we should. We're going to be going in 1 minute's time. Theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically, let's hope so.
Alright. The original start time was 8:29. But it'll be like 30 seconds or so from now. Yeah, there you go. Double ping.
Oh, my phone is going to blow up from the vibrations.
Both Pyro and Junutsi pinged at the same time.
We got to get going at some point, and well, we will have a formation. Oh, I only got one ping actually.
Yeah, because you don't have
Oh, yeah.
Sunday driver or reserve roles.
I might just ping everyone for fun. Have another ping.
Oh,
I'm not that mean.
I don't want another ping.
Well, let me run them through the tyres that we've got on the cars.
Okay. Oh, nice. Really quite varied throughout the field. So that's soft for Chakos. Only one in the top 7 to do so. Then it's medium from Limwalder, which does appear to be the most common choice. Stefan going slightly different with the hards. Texport and Pyro both on the mediums. Then it's Sweatback on the hards. Jack Imac also on the mediums. Then Jensen, the only other driver in the top 10, going for the softs. D10 Giannuzzi, Rocky, Fuzzle, and Luke the Blade all mediums. Hearts going with the softs. Petrobras and Zakis Beast on mediums. Unatos on softs. Power GT on hards. Martinez on mediums, and El Plan on the softs. And why is El Plan ahead of Martinez?
Well, he's El Plan, so who knows?
Well, he's not ahead of Martinez anymore.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Oh, sorry.
El Plan teleported back to last season with this Williams. Or, like, quote unquote, his Williams.
Yeah, well,
Not exactly.
it'll be interesting to see how the race plays out for El Plan. I think he can definitely make up a lot of positions through the session, and well, let's just see. Let us just see how it plays out for everybody here today across this race. Liam Boulder already on his grid slot. We're going to get a terrible angle of the start. I just love it so much. Terrible angle. Oh, and Luke the Blade missing his grid slot.
Usually with an angle as bad as this, I just go with the onboard cam.
Yeah, can't be asked.
Just like onboard with like Liam Boulder or Stefan.
Well, Haas currently on pole, moves back to his correct grid spot as we wait for the 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Yes, we saw Jack Imac and D10 both jump the start, as Jack Imac will take the lead then coming down into turn 1, but he has got that drive-through penalty. D10 making up a load of positions as a result of that as well. We're seeing plenty of drivers. Stefan going wide, the Alpine, it looks like Sweatback Flame going wide in the background as they all squabble their way through in the midfield as they make their way down into turn 2. All wheel to wheel, all battling away. I'm not sure if anyone's going, oh, looks like one of the AlphaTauris might have been pushed wide off the circuit.
Rocky.
That was Rocky that was on the exit.
Last as well.
How many cars are there in this race? Seems like there's so many around the circuit now, and they're all squabbling to try and find track position. Petterflat almost went round. He could have collected El Plan and put Zaki's Beast in the process, perhaps.
Martinez is round.
Martinez is around in the background. Yes, indeed he is. Yellow flags waving, but I don't think we'll be seeing a safety car for that one. El Plan has moved up into P16 then. A decent getaway from him. everyone swept back, I think, has actually moved down a few positions, not having a good start then, as they all file their way through, perhaps to cross that line, perhaps to come towards the end of the flight of this first lap here in XLR. Looks like a move to the inside for someone coming through turn 13. It looked like they were diving to the inside. I couldn't quite see who that was.
Alpine's round. Alpine's gone round. That's the penultimate corner. Both Ferrari serving their drive-throughs now.
Yes, indeed. Fuzzle into the pit lane as well then. A few drive-throughs being served. Oh my goodness, Alpine's round again at the final corner. Smashes the inside wall. Luckily, no damage so far for him. But that's 2 spins very, very close very, very close together for Alpine, which is not ideal for him, as we see all manner of cars getting very close together on the circuit. Hungary is one of those tracks where everyone gets pretty close as Pyro goes very wide, coming through turn 4. Through turn 5, where there is a bit of the death curb, as I think most people like to name it as. Plenty of people find their inside tyres there, and then they find themselves spinning around. Now it's time for everyone to kind of settle into a rhythm before the DRS is active. Liam's not in the DRS of Shakos, but he's also not given Stefan any DRS, which is very useful for him when that becomes active in the next couple of laps. So we take the swig of water and we wait to see where everyone is around the circuit. No moves really being made across this lap. We've got to wait for those rear wing gaps to start opening before we start to really see anything major sort of happen, really. As much as these cars were improved for their racing in 2022 and 2023, it's still not perfect, and that was a huge amount of static from your mic, Nemion. Did you sneeze into it?
Yeah, no, it went slamming onto my desk.
it was a good amount of noise.
It was incredibly loud. This is the issue of having to use my phone and my boom out, as Stefan goes very wide.
Yeah, almost cost himself the position to tech support, who's actually now right on his rear in that Mercedes, looking for some space down the inside, but unfortunately he can't find it. Coming into that turn 6-7 chicane, as they all file through in that single line. Some gaps starting to open up a little bit, and everyone's still relatively close together around the circuit. In fact, there's a bit of a gap between Stefan and Liam Wilder, even greater now that Stefan had that bit of a moment on those hard tyres, perhaps struggling for some temperature, really struggling to find some warm-up in those tyres on these early stages, especially in the track conditions that will be a little bit cooler than perhaps we might see in a real-life Hungarian Grand Prix. We usually see a bit of sunshine at Hungary, some hot conditions. I think particularly the last couple of years. 2021 was a bit wet, but we don't talk about that year. That's for the forbidden year. As DRS for tech support, then he pulls to the inside of Stefan into turn 1 and makes that move very nice and easy, although Stefan looks like he's going to be trying to fight back on tech support. We'll see them come round turn 2, almost wheel to wheel, but tech support, luckily with the DRS, just about has that enough straight line speed to maintain his positional advantage ahead of Stefan in the Aston Martin, as the Mercedes makes his way into P3. Hey, we saw a Mercedes finish in P3 today. Perhaps we'll see it finish in P1 today. It depends how that soft compound tyre strategy plays out for Shakos, as it could be pretty risky, going on to such an easy wearing tyre on a hard wearing circuit. But he's certainly got the pace at the moment to really use the best of it, and we'll see, if he can continue to do that, or when will Liam start to reel him in. We did actually see a move in the background then, I think, between Martins and D10. D10, who did serve his drive-through after jumping the start alongside his teammate Jack Imac, making positions up already, and they're going to be hunting down Rocky, who did have a spin in the early stages of the race. So we jump back to tech support in P3, who now leads this DRS train that involves pretty much all the point scorers. We've got another spin.
Looks like it's beast round at the final corner.
Indeed it is. Luckily no damage for him. Unfortunately he wasn't quite able to save it like Sebastian Vettel did all the way back in 2014. It's crazy. 2014 is almost 10 years ago now. That feels like doesn't even feel like it's that long ago. My goodness. Time
no
is
damage from Zach, thankfully. I don't notice in the last lap or two, Liam Waters opened up 1.5 seconds. It was 1.6 earlier. It's now 3 seconds. That gap at the front. That's crazy.
Yeah, Shakos really making the most. That gap is not exactly growing behind. It's just Shakos putting in some really good laps out front and really stretching his advantage. But of course, Liam Bwalder, currently first place in the championship, I think a second place today, I think will look pretty good on his record for the first 2 rounds of the season. But, you know, all these racing drivers, they're hungry for more than just the first loser. They want to be the winner. And, well, we'll see how that strategy plays out.
On the previous lap, Shakos was 9/10 faster than Liam Bwalder. And then on that one again, this time it was only 4/10. But even still, 4/10 a lap at this stage.
It's very close. We've got a big battle going on just behind him into turn 1 with Jensen, Unitos and Giannuzzi.
Oh, no!
Jensen's round into the barriers. A light taps and no front wing damage. I'm wondering if he got a little bit of a nudge on the outside, or perhaps maybe from behind from Giannuzzi. I didn't quite see any contact.
He didn't hit the barrier though.
No.
Managed to keep that.
Oh no, there's more contact.
Now
More
he's
contact
with Martinez. He's round again.
Oh, they just kind of joined cars there, and well, Jensen round for a second time. This time Martinez pushing him. I'm sure he's incredibly frustrated behind the wheel of that Alpine at the moment. A couple of incidents that, well, we're not quite sure if the first one was his fault or not. It might have just been too much on the power, or he's been nudged into an uncompromised position by someone.
Gone out with him again. Martinez is now round and in the barriers.
He's out. That'll be a safety car.
Yeah, Martinez is out. That's a safety car.
Perfect, I think,
and
for Shakos.
In. Shakos was too late. He's going to catch the safety car right now. Shakos won't have the chance to pit.
That's really unlucky for Shakos. Early for Liam, so he's going to move.
He's not going to have the chance to pit because of how long the straight is.
Yeah, I think Liam's going to transfer onto a 2-stop, which I think is what Shakos would have wanted to do anyway.
Hards.
So yeah, they're going for 2-stop. Well, I mean, will those hards run 30 laps? I don't think so. I mean, they might, but...
I doubt it, but they might.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think they're going to be transferring onto the same 2-stop that has Dutch words exchanged between Martins and Jensen. I think we'll need some translators to work on that one.
Google Translate will do.
Yeah, give us a translation if it's, of course, PG clean. I highly doubt it's going to be completely clean, but... So obviously our hard runners didn't hit.
You're a piece of not very nice things, aren't you? That's what he just said to Jensen.
Ah. You know when he says it in Dutch, he's like properly angry.
And then not very nice word, and then loser.
Oh dear. Well, that is a very frustrated Martinez, and Jensen, you've just got the Dutch treatment. Well, so there we go then. So Stefan stayed out on his hards along with Sweatback Flame. Interestingly, the Blade and Petaflat also remained out, but on mediums. I think skipping out on perhaps a free pit stop. Power GT, of course, also remaining out on his hards. But then everybody else boxed. Rocky stayed out on his mediums. Crucially, Liam Bwalder is not behind him. Liam's going to have a bit of a barrier to tech support Pyro, who pitted for hards. Unitos boxed for medium, so he'll, of course, be in at another point during the race. Pretty much everyone else boxed for hards. But Fuzzle, interestingly, applied some soft compound tyres to his car. I think that's
Fuzzle at the back, just not, just taking a risk at this stage, I think.
I mean, it's still looking pretty cloudy out there, and maybe I think. Oh, to be fair, you know what? With the rain that might come in the later stages, being on hards, fresh hards now, could be ideal. Because let's say they only need to do a stint, and instead of boxing for another set of dries, they can box for a set of wets when that rain comes in, let's say 10 laps from the end. That would be literally perfect.
Yeah. Shakos is in a really bad situation right now, because it was through no fault of his own. he couldn't come into the pits because he had already passed the pit lane, and then he couldn't. And then by the time he caught the safety car, because the safety car came out at the end of the pit lane, there was really nothing he could have done. And out of all the people, he was on the soft compound tyres.
Yeah.
So that's like the worst person it could have happened to.
It literally would have been perfect because he would have used that first tyre and, you know, still had another medium if there was a safety car, say 10 laps from the end and it's dry, you know? And that's the thing, it's just it's another one that's got away from Jacos through literally no fault of his own. This happens to Jacos, I think, more than any of us really would like.
They've got in, that was quick.
Yeah, it's a fast safety car, and well, Jacos will lead the way then. And, well, let's see when he decides to go really backing up the pack here. Stefan getting right to the diffuser of the Haas, who goes now. I think he got a fairly good restart, although everyone's going to be very close behind him in the slipstream. He didn't quite catch anyone off guard as such. He's got Stefan right behind him, and look at that further in the background, wheel to wheel, between Power GT and Petter Flat coming into turn one. The outside line, the door is shown to Power GT, who is forced slightly wide there, and he's not going to quite have as good of a drive as he perhaps would have wanted to coming out of the corner. Tech Support getting ahead of Rocky supposedly as they go wheel to wheel into turn two. Very close side by side action between them, as I think Tech Support's made that move done. Although no, it's Haas and Jack as well. Jack Homack's race goes from bad to worse as he finds himself in a spin. Pyro battling away with Unitos. Almost been a contact between them. That's opened him up on the inside. No! There's a bit of late braking, and that's Rocky round from Pyro.
Rocky round.
Pyro's ran into the back of him. Loads of guys finding themselves spinning round or in collisions. Pyro's now spun out as well. Everyone's having to dart and avoid the spinning cars that are all stricken all over the circuit. Liam Boulder now right on the back of Power GT as well. El Plan making a move on Pyro now, who perhaps has a little bit too hot of tyres after a spin and a lock-up. No visual damage for Pyro. And, well, that's just all really kicked off with the Alpha Tauri's in the wars a little bit here. As, well, we get racing on lap 10. We've had a pretty intense race so far. Everyone relatively close together as Liam Boulder goes to the inside. Coming into turn one. He's also going wheel to wheel with Power GT. Who's going to have the better drive out the corner? Power GT's going to have the inside line coming into turn two. But Liam Boulder's later on the brakes. Goes all the way around the outside. The outside line now becomes the inside for the McLaren driver, who gets that move done. Tech Support also in the background of that overtake, trying to get ahead of Power GT into turn four. Yes, he does. And now Liam Boulder takes P6 away, and Power GT losing 2 positions in just a handful of corners through the first sector of the lap. And Liam Boulder can now start to hunt after Petter Flat and try and make his way all the way up through the order. It's going to be interesting to see when drivers like Shakos actually make their way into the pit lane to box, because, you know, they're going to be falling pretty much to the back of the field, even with all this hard fighting and hard squabbling that's going on, as we just see another yellow flag.
Yeah, Rocky's up again.
Yeah, there goes Rocky, and well, he needs to box as he's on 9-lap-old mediums and getting cooked for breakfast, lunch, and dinner by everyone on the circuit. So he needs to get in for some fresh tyres. We've got DRS enabled this lap then, as in the slipstream of Petter Flat is Liam Boulder. The Dutchman now pulls to the inside in the McLaren. He's going to be later on the brakes coming into turn one. Makes that move work. Tech Support stuck behind the Aston Martin just a little bit, but he's going to get better drive out the corner. Petter Flat's going to try and squeeze him the best that he can, but Tech Support's going to have the greatest straight line speed and is going to be able to make that position up into P7. P6, sorry, as Power GT, I think, having a squabble with Jensen and D10.
Yeah, there's a bit of contact between the two of them.
Oh, Luke the Blade and Liam!
Luke the Blade off the track!
Indeed he is. He's going to try and show the door to Tech Support, who tries to go all the way around the outside at turn 5. Tech Support's got the better drive coming into turn 6, though. It's going to be wheel to wheel coming into the chicane. Tech Support makes that work. You don't see many moves into that chicane. Looks like a Williams going across the rumble strips there. Luke the Blade now falling back, struggling for grip after he's just been shown the door by multiple drivers. Luke the Blade falling down into P10. I'm not sure who's...
And our plans are.
Yeah, our plans round. He's lost his front wing. Safety car, that will probably be a safety car.
No, it's not. It
No?
won't be at this stage.
Debris on the track usually does result in that safety car. Liam aggressively racing with who was that? Luke the Blade there to try and get that position. Is now he sits in the slipstream and the DRS of Sweatback Flame. He goes round the outside at turn 1. Sweatback is going to be there on the inside line, still holding position, holding station, but Liam is going to get the better drive coming out of the corner, and the McLaren driver repasses Sweatback Flame for P3 and the podium. Tech Support, who does also have a 3-second penalty, bear that in mind as well. There's going to be a bit of a buffer between Liam and Tech Support now. McLaren and Mercedes, faltered by an Alpine in their fight. Liam can now start to get after Stefan and try to overtake him in the next lap or so. I think we saw a few shuffles of positions a little further back. Power GT still falling back in the race, but he's on the hards and has no choice but to stick this one out as long as he can. Fuzzle currently doing a pretty good job to make some positions up, but when is he going to need to pit? I mean, we can see Shakos at the moment still out there and looking fairly comfortable, to be honest, on most set of softs that he's got on at the moment. He's looking pretty fast still, you know, and I think that's rather impressive. Someone who is struggling a little bit more though is Stefan. 6 lap older tyres than the fellow countryman behind. But Stefan is going to be under huge pressure with the DRS and the slipstream, and I'm sure a sprinkling of ERS just to add insult to injury. To the inside goes Liam Welder to make that move. He chops off Stefan instantly to make sure he cannot send it down the inside coming into turn 1. Tech Support almost does a copycat move in the background and moves up into P4, but crucially outside the DRS of Stefan. Pyro trying to make his way on the inside of Luke the Blade, and he's squabbling for track positions away with Zakis Beast. He sends one to the inside, an aggressive dive bomb, and that forces Zakis Beast slightly wide as Luke the Blade takes that position off him. Fuzzle trying to go round the outside as they exit through turn 3 and up into turn 4. They're going to be wheel to wheel into the high speed corner left-hander on the circuit. Fuzzle goes slightly wide but still retains that position, doesn't get told to give it back. I don't think the game's quite intelligent enough to tell him that. As we look at the camera shake that we've got as all the cars travel through at very high speed. I think is that rocky round again? Yes, it is. He needs to get off those tyres immediately. He needs to get off those tyres ASAP. He is really struggling on that set at the moment as Stefan has Tech Support for company, and Tech Support is really making light work. He's trying to make light work of the Aston Martin, but through the tight and twisty Hungarian Grand Prix circuit, it's difficult to try and find moves apart from on this straight. As now we come through with another lap, some DRS assistance for Tech Support, who goes to the inside and looks like he's going to make that move on Stefan. We're going to switch slightly further back with Sweatback Flame and Unitos going wheel to wheel. Unitos on the outside of the Alpine car. The AlphaTauri tries to power his way round the outside. He's not going to quite have made it work as they barrel their way down into turn 2. The AlphaTauri on the inside. Is he going to make it work? Forces Sweatback as wide as he possibly can and swoops round the outside of turn 3 to make that move work. Looks like D10 also trying to get past Sweatback Flame in the background, with Jensen not far behind, also thinking and considering about moves all around the circuit. There's great racing going on everywhere. D10 looking to the inside, and Sweatback, he's pushed him. Sweatback gets a massive snap of oversteer, and Jensen cuts through on the inside of the chicane to pass both of them. Surely he'll be asked to take that one, give those positions back. Sweatback Flame caught on such old tyres. That was pretty much entirely D10's fault, just far too late on the brakes. And, you know, and Jensen, yes, there's he goes. Oh, that's unfortunate for him. He'll serve that when he does probably pit for when perhaps we see a bit of rain in the race. But look at this for the lead. Shakos's tyres are starting to go off ever so more. We got a yellow flag in the third sector. Power GT's off. Unfortunately for him, Shakos though has got Liam Wilder just behind him. Liam unfortunately not able to pass him this time around. We fall slightly further back with Pyro, D10 and Sweatback Flame all squabbling for these lower points paying positions, with D10 up into P7. Pyro battling away with Sweatback Flame, but makes light work of the struggling Alpine, who just can't seem to find pace on these older tyres. Even further behind, Fuzzle fighting away with Giannuzzi, who is battling with the Alfa Romeo of Zaki's Beast, and it looks like for now the Haas remains in P12, or actually made up a position in P12. Jack Imax, who's been having a pretty abysmal race at the moment, making his way ahead of Zaki's Beast as well, who is perhaps falling back slightly in the race. He's got Luke the Blade, who is yet to stop in the session, or he might have stopped very early in the session, sorry. Just behind him, but we're going to head towards our leaders yet again here. Liam Wilder only about a tenth and a half, but just over a tenth and a half behind Shakos this time around. But with that McLaren being so close to the Haas, does Shakos decide to pit this time round? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay out for yet another lap. How is he lasting so long on these soft compound tyres? He's doing a really good job, but the rest of the field is starting to come into his clutches. Perhaps he's trying to hold on as long as possible. But Liam Boada with some DRS is going to go to the outside into turn one. He's going to swoop around and make that move on Shakos, although Shakos is going to try and get some good drive coming out the corner. I don't think he's going to be, he's not going to quite have good enough drive. Those low grip tyres really faltering his attack, or his defence of Liam Welder, who now takes the lead of the race on lap 16, with Shakos still yet to pit. I still think that Shakos is going to be in a bad position. Even if he does pit now, he's going to be like 20 seconds behind Liam, which is going to be less than ideal for the Haas driver. He'll be desperate to try and get this win after it's pretty much been cruelly taken away from him by the early safety car caused by Martins and Jensen locking cars. It wasn't even like locking wheels, they literally locked cars. My goodness, clear the throat a little bit. Oh, Zaki's Beast is out. We got a safety car. Zaki's Beast has crashed on the circuit. Is Shakos going to get it?
Oh, he's right on the racing line.
Yeah, that's why we got the safety car. I've got water all over my desk. Wheel over to get this tissue. Oh my gosh. And yeah, Shakos in Liam Boulder as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Get it off those hards. Go for some mediums, most likely.
Yeah. And I think everyone's probably going to be on very similar tyres. Liam makes it on, yeah, indeed, mediums. Let's see what Shakos puts on. Fuzzle picking up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Mediums for Shakos as well.
Yeah.
Tech support softs?
Soft, yeah.
Bold from tech support. He saw Shakos going.
You're going to see mediums. It's mediums mostly down the field, but some drivers on softs.
Interesting, interesting indeed. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see how this race does play out, and if the rain gets involved, my goodness, it could get even spicier from where it is right now, and that would be a miracle, you know, if that happens. If it gets even more intense. I mean, we have honestly seen some fantastic racing so far in only 17 laps, which is just amazing. I mean, it has honestly been fantastic, and I've really enjoyed it so far. And here's to another good set of laps. Let's hope they're all as good as each other as, well, we can only hope that that is true. As,
Headbar's gone back onto a second set of mediums, so he's saying he hopes it rains, otherwise he's going to have to pit again very late. Hart stayed out under safety car, he's now second.
Alright, go on, Haas. We said he might win.
10-lap-old Hards. Watch, Hart's going to send it down the inside, take the lead, and then there's going to be another safety car, and then during that next safety car, and then at the end of that next safety car period, it's going to be raining, and he's suddenly going to be leading the race. And everyone else is going to have really slow pit stops because they all suddenly broke their front wings.
Well, OM's hacked into the servers and given everyone front wing damage.
Yeah, OM hacked the servers.
Could you imagine OM hacking servers to cause... Oh, gosh.
I'm pretty sure he's playing Fortnite right now.
Tell him to get in here. We need some OM comms.
No, he's not on Fortnite. He's probably just He's probably just trying to be Hearts' race engineer again, which he tried to do last week. And
How bad did that go?
Very.
Was he not a voice of reason? Was he a voice of panic?
A voice of you have this much ERS. A voice of just telling him things that are on his screen.
Oh dear. Well, you know, I think that's all we can really say about But hey, let's see when the safety car comes in. Probably actually at the end of this lap, I'll presume, and we can get racing yet again. I think the way that safety cars have come out so far have been quite nice, given us good spacing between them, not too much death and boredom. But well, it's been pretty interesting so far. You know what? I thought yeah, cool.
A bit earlier than it came in last lap. But with this track, you have to go really slowly to like give the safety car some space because it always comes in really late. It's sort of penultimate corner time.
Yeah, and let's see where Liam Walder comes out, and when he puts pedal to the metals, I'm supporting his friend Hards then, as he goes now. I don't think he's actually got a particularly good launch. Hards is right closing in to Liam Walder, the leader. Here we go. Hards to the outside of Liam Walder. Liam is going to be later on the brakes, though, superior grip. I don't think Hards was realistically going to challenge that one into turn one. I don't think he would have had the grip to do so regardless. It would have been nice to see some titanium balls on display to overtake the two-time champ on old tyres. But, well, Shakos currently sits in P2 but has a angry and fast tech support on some soft tyres behind him. Tech support does, of course, have 3 seconds worth of time penalties. But, well, let's see how that even plays out, because everyone's been so close together on the circuit at the moment, as we almost see Stefan thinking about moves on people coming into the chicane, which is an incredibly dangerous place to make overtakes on. It's incredible. You know,
Hudson lost 2 seconds and just.
Oh, he goes wide. He goes wide.
Shakos.
Oh, there's contact. They almost found
them.
themselves crash. Haas defends the best he can. I think he's just ran off the track in just to like say, I'm so sorry. He's getting bullied by everyone on the circuit. They're all trying to get past him, all trying to avoid contact. As to the outside, eventually goes Unitos, who slends it down the inside into turn 14, forcing Haas a long way round. As now Pyro flicks it through on the inside of the Red Bull. Now they're all going to slide into the slipstream of the Red Bull and the McLaren. They're going side by side now. It could almost be 3 wide coming into turn 1 with Haas, Pyro and the Alpine of Jensen. They're all struggling to find place. Haas gets a bit more contact and is always spun round. This is incredibly entertaining racing that we're seeing all around the circuit. But Haas unfortunately dropping down into P9 as Jensen, Pyro and Unitos all squabble past him in some relatively scrappy but tough and hard fought moves. I think Haas has just got no defence left on those tyres. Nothing he can really do about it. But you know what? One thing that has done is provide a nice little cushion for Liam Waldo out front of 2 seconds to Shakos behind that could give him a bit of time to react if rain comes or people box at weird different stages. And well, we'll just see how that gap diminishes or grows. Of course, Shakos is going to be defending from a tech support on softs, who is going to be using those fresh tyre, who's going to be using that fresh tyre advantage early on. It was like Jensen giving it a bit of a weave. He's also on the soft tyres, perhaps getting some more temperature in that. We got a yellow flag in sector 3.
That's swept back flame. Penultimate corner, swept back flame's gone off.
Yeah, he has.
Shakos. So you know that 2 second gap you were talking about? Yeah, that's 1.1 seconds now.
I know, but tech support is kept a relatively decent distance to Shakos as well, and it's going to get pretty interesting. What is going on here with they're all squabbling. They're all swapping positions for these late points. The two Red Bulls,
Oh,
the Aston Martin, they're going close to 4 wide, coming into the corner. There goes a Power GT round. Bit of contact. They were literally like 27 wide through into turn 3. There was literally nowhere for anyone to go. It was someone was going to go round, and unfortunately, it was Power GT who was victim of that. I just saw the multitude of position changing and was just like, what is going on here? It's close. I think it's even. Does it quite go into P10? I don't even know where this battle goes to. Haas fighting away with El Plan here, going to try to go round the outside. Haas is going to power to ahead of El Plan. Haas making up a position. Rocky making a move on El Plan as a result. And Rocky looks to the inside of Haas now, coming in to... I can't tell what corner they're even in. That's turn 12 actually. So yeah, relatively valid actually overtaking opportunity. As now everyone's in DRS of Liam Buolder, and now it's time for Liam to defend and use whatever speed he's got left in that car. Jensen ahead of
spun the pit lane. That's what the deadest tyres are.
Jensen and Unitos squabbling away. Then Unitos perhaps getting a front wing close to that rear wheel, but it's not quite enough as Jensen clips the curb on the entry there. He does a, he almost, could you imagine, he spins round on an entry curb. I think he'd be rather frustrated there. To be honest, Jensen's done a nice little comeback drive because he was spun around twice and he's somehow in P6. I think that's the virtue of safety cars and shenanigans that have occurred around the circuit. But, well, it's going to be a bit of a race of management to the rain, I think, as we don't have too many more laps to go. Not an awful lot of laps left on the clock, but it could still. I still could see Stefan, Tech Support, Shakos, or Liam Wilder winning this one still. Maybe even D10 if he can close in and a few guys crash. But here we go then. This looks like it could be a change for the lead then. Shakos in the DRS, in the slipstream with Liam Wilder, pulls to the inside. Liam's going to try to squeeze him as close as he can, but Shakos repays the favour as they go wheel to wheel into turn 1. Liam forced to the outside, is going to have a poorer exit, but he's still going to have decent enough drive to keep a wheel in there. But Shakos with DRS is going to have that better straight line speed, and eventually is now ahead and into the lead. Liam Wilder needs to use his DRS to make sure he is not passed by the fresh, soft tyres of Tech Support. He's just got to outlast those tyres enough so they start to diminish in their performance a little bit. And that is literally like all Liam needs to do, and perhaps maybe even try a later move on Shakos, maybe make a better decision when it comes to boxing if rain does start to fall on the circuit. I mean, I can't see any weather at the moment, but of course we got told by the forecast that we would have some rain at some point, whether that's 3 laps from the end, 10 laps from the end, 12 laps from the end, which we are kind of about now, or it's literally on the final lap. We are not particularly sure, but we think there's going to be rain coming at some point. But then Liam Wilder's he actually is outside of the DRS of Shakos. I'm not sure if that was into the detection point he moved outside the 1 second advantage. I think it was. So Liam Wilder doesn't have DRS, but he's got an angry Tech Support who's going to be fighting with Stefan into turn 1. And, well, they all retain positions, but now Liam not as fast as Shakos. Shakos he's managed to bounce back nicely from his unfortunate strategy earlier on. As though Stefan and Tech Support do go wheel to wheel coming into turn 2. That battle follows through into turn 3 where Stefan easily makes that move on Tech Support. And now Stefan sits in that podium position and perhaps might come after Liam Wilder, who is really struggling against Shakos. Currently 1.8 seconds that gap out in front. Pyro, I think that's his second. Yeah, it is his second 3-second time penalty of the race. That's really unfortunate for Pyro. That's going to drop him a few positions in the grand scheme of things when the checkered flag falls out. Especially if we get another safety car and everyone's really close behind each other in the latter stages. He's going to really struggle to get that gap. Shackles to tier 0. Yes. I mean, I have been in like leagues before where there's just one guy that's been insanely fast. Like he would start P20 every race and still finish like 15 seconds ahead of everyone. And like in the end, no one turned up for the races because he would just win. he would just win so easily. But then Stefan, on the back of Liam Wilder, pulls to the outside, out of the slipstream of the McLaren. But Liam's going to defend that inside line. He's going to show the door to Stefan to the outside, try and compromise his exit coming down into turn 2, which is exactly what he's done. But Stefan's going to find the inside on that second corner as they make those few drops of rain falling on the circuit, and Liam falls back into turn 3. You can see small droplets falling, and I think if we went on board with a driver, you might be able to see it just a bit more. There is rain falling. There is some rain falling here, about 10 laps from the end. So it might, unfortunately, that soft decision from Texport wasn't the right one. I mean, it was on paper the right decision, but he just didn't quite have enough speed in the early stage. I think he was just stuck behind the drivers too much in the DRS to really make any impactful move. But yeah, Liam really struggling on the second set of mediums compared to the guys around him. Interesting. He looked really strong on the mediums on the first stint, but as the fuel's gone down, he's just not quite been there. Not quite had the edge like the other drivers have, and D10 is actually on the back of this train as well now. And it'll be interesting to see who makes that move onto the Inters first. If I was El Plan, I would get on Inters now. I would just, I've got nothing to lose. I'm on old tyres anyway. Why not just get into the box, get some intermediate tyres on? Sweatback Flame and Power GZ have had that idea, but not El Plan. Interesting. And now let's watch out for Sweatback Flame's lap times along with Power GTs to when they become quicker. Also a good indicator of when it's time to box is when the DRS does get disabled. Liam Wilder, though, has got tech support for company all the way around the lap, and Liam really struggling. It's really surprising. I thought he was the second quickest guy out there, but as it's got a little bit colder and perhaps a little slippier, and he's just struggling a bit more. Haas also into the box then. And let's keep an eye on that gap. Remember, at the moment, it's a 16.9 gap between El Plan and Sweatback Flame. When it starts to come down, I think that's when it's time. I think, to be honest, boxing now might be a lap too early.
Yeah. It's still too early. He's losing quite a lot of time as well. It's barely raining at this stage, to be honest.
Yeah, he's lost actually quite a bit of time. As Jack Imac and Pyro
it's
boxing.
Not even raining that much.
No, it is a bit too early. D10 making the move on tech support. Didn't quite see that one coming. D10 making that overtake on the Mercedes, having much more straight line speed, and able to make that pass. I think tech support softs are struggling just a bit more than I think he would have anticipated.
Now.
Yeah.
It is definitely getting wetter.
It certainly is, but
it's probably the end of this lap when it's the time to come in. Although maybe they might go one more.
They might, but you don't want to leave it too long and risk an easy spin on a set of slicks in the wet. That would be catastrophic for your race, especially since these guys have got such fine margins between each other. And I don't think the only real problem with pit stops I can see is Fuzzle and tech support. They're quite close together on the circuit, and especially with Fuzzle's 5-second time penalty, it's going to make his stop.
But Fuzzle's behind, so that shouldn't matter. Fuzzle's 5 seconds. Puzzle's like 4 seconds back, it shouldn't matter. D10 comes in. No, I know that, but I'm saying he'll probably have to wait behind tech support and then serve a 5-second penalty and then do his pit stop. He's 5 seconds behind, he shouldn't have to wait.
Oh, is he 5? Yellow in sector 3.
Yeah, 5 seconds back. Rocky's round. Penultimate corner. Unan tosses in as well.
It's hard to see if that gap is going down between El Plan and Jack Imac. I think it kind of is. It's very... the crossover point is now... Yeah, it's definitely now. I mean, look at that, 2 seconds gained. Look at Jack... No, that's Rocky. I don't know what's going on. Who's making gains? What's going on? The gaps are changing, the drivers are changing. It's really difficult to tell who is actually faster right now. I think it's relatively equal.
Looking at Sweatback Flame, because he's he pitted more recently. So Slowback Flame on his previous lap did a 25.6. Then someone like if I find El Plan did a 24.7 on the previous lap,
and he's on 16 lap old hards.
A lot faster.
But look at the gap that's come down between Unitos and Alplan. That gap is coming down. It came from about 2.2 to now 1.5. I think now is the lap to box. I think this is the lap to box.
Stayed out.
Everyone stayed out though.
Giannucci then. That's in.
This was definitely the lap. But I think the leaders have got just about enough time where they can afford to take that loss.
Gap to the leader. The highest interest runner at the moment is D10, 26 seconds behind Shakos.
That should be enough to make a stop still.
See once. Yeah, so 26 seconds at the moment. So, and that gap is staying around the same at the moment, around 26.3 seconds.
It's
so
very.
I think
It's crossover.
should be able to pit and remain in the lead.
But it's maybe your last lap.
It's hovering around 26.3. Then sometimes it dips to 26.2. Then sometimes it goes up to 26.4.
Yeah, it's very. This is definite. You have to box this lap, or you're going to start losing way too much time. Because, I mean, we've seen Unitos already get past El Plan. Of course, El Plan is a bit of an exception. He is on much older tyres anyway. But, you know, you get the gist of things. I'm sure he'll be in at the end of this lap. Surprised he didn't box early. That's a mistake, I think.
Yeah, the gap to D10 is now starting to tumble.
Liam stayed out as well.
Shakos thinks he can. Does Shakos think he can go to the end of the race? Go another 5 laps without losing 25 seconds?
Maybe that's what they're counting on. Because eventually it's going to...
Stefan will come out ahead of D10 still. So, it's not like they couldn't have pitted.
You say that gap is now down to 25.7. And that Stefan
that's only a second on that last lap or so.
This is an increasingly interesting circumstance to decide who and what pits as Pyro battling away at Petal Flat. Petal Flat ahead of Pyro. Of course, there's still DRS active. Very. It's interesting. It's gone down 0.3 right now. It's 20. Well, let's focus on Stefan because he's literally the one behind 22.1. He's got to get through a lot of cars.
3/10 isn't going to gain you 20 seconds.
Interesting if these guys... I don't think they're going to make it 5 laps though, because the track is just going to get wetter and wetter and wetter. Because that rain isn't going to stop. If the rain stopped now, I would say...
Again. Liam's in. They're all in. Shakos isn't.
Shakos is going to try to stay out to the end.
Stays out.
He's got to be...
Blades comes in. So Fazal and Shakos are going to try and brave it out to the end.
I think that's a mistake.
Quite possibly could be, but at the same time, he's not going to lose that many positions, is he? And I feel like, assuming he keeps it on the track in a straight line, he's only going to lose 1 or 2 positions.
He can't
it was 2 laps or so. It was 2 seconds or so. The gap, like the swing on the last lap, but 2 seconds when he's 20 seconds clear. Like at this rate, they need 10 laps to catch him. So if he thinks he can control it, then at this current rate, he will stay in P1. If he can control it, because there's only 5 laps to go and 4 at the end of this one.
Yeah, I think the important thing is, can he control it more than anything else?
They've got to be over 4 seconds a lap faster to catch him at this stage.
If he pits now, he will fall behind because Liam Wilder, who just boxed...
No, he can't pit at this point. It's way too late.
If
he was gonna pit, he had to do the lap after Stefan.
Yeah.
He's not pitting at this stage.
No. But D10 is actually under pressure from Liam Wilder, who has got a lot better pace in these wet conditions. So,
on that last lap now, gaps one, I think that was about 2.5 to 3 seconds, the swing. And with 4 laps to go now, 2.5 to 3 seconds also won't be enough. So the gap is, like, the swing is growing every, like, lap on lap. But there's only 4 laps to go.
No goes in water.
Yeah, look how easily Stefan goes past Fuzzle here. But the gap's 15 seconds with 4 laps to go. It's got to be almost 5 seconds a lap quicker. I just don't see that happening. And Shackles also has 60% of his battery to use if he needs to.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, if it gets to the point where Stefan catches him, battery isn't going to do anything. Did
No.
DRS even get disabled? It must have done.
It must have done, surely. I mean, but
I
just
didn't
look at...
see the notification.
No, Shackles is doing so well on these drives. So look how wet it is out there. I don't know how. He's driving like it's, you know, just a little chilly. Like, it's incredible. Honestly.
Yeah, it's just the average German weather.
Maybe he's had experience on the Autobahn, that's why he's good like this. But, oh, that is... DRS, there you go. Now it's disabled.
Yeah, now DRS is disabled. So it's only just been disabled now. So it's been just enabled the rest of the time. In these conditions. And 3 laps to go, he's got to be 4 seconds a lap quicker. And like, the gap has been... The change in gaps has been increasing every lap. But he's got to be 4 seconds a lap quicker. And I just can't see that happening. There's only 3 laps to go now for Shackles. And
Yeah.
the gap is tumbling, but there's only 3 laps to go. It's too... I think it's too late. And now Techsport and D10 are side by side. Techsport gets up into 5th, but he has that... Is it 6 seconds now?
3 seconds.
It's only 3. Oh, Jensen on D10 has big contact. Jensen went over the top of him.
My goodness.
Thanks to some lag there.
And obviously Liam Boada
now
makes
gets
light
past
work of
as
Fuzzle.
well. Yeah, Pyro tires in the pit lane. Gap's now 9 seconds with 2 laps to go at the end of this one. So now it's 4.5. Yeah, again, it's like it's about 4 seconds a lap that he needs to be.
Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be close, I think.
No, but he needs to be 4 seconds a lap quicker on the previous lap. He needs to be 4 seconds a lap quicker again. It will actually be very close.
It's going to be so close. Oh, this is nail biting to see who is going to finish as Fuzzle going wide allows tech
He
support
now
to...
needs to be 3.5 seconds quicker a lap. On the last lap, Stefan did a 26.4. Shax did a 31.9. So he is actually gaining enough as much as he needs to.
Oh,
At the rate he's gaining, he'll catch him before, like, about in like the first sector on the lap.
Oh, it's going to be so close.
So he needs to use all this battery that he's saved up.
He needs to use it down.
You can see how many positions
Jack
Fuzzle's
Lomax
tumbling.
in the
Jack
pit lane retires.
in the pit lane.
Oh, it's going to be really close. It's going to be really close. I think he's going to do it. I think Stefan is going to get this
only
move.
4 seconds, but yeah, he's going to get it. He's going to get it.
He's going to get it.
Yes, it's now 3.5 seconds. It's going to be really good, but he's going to get it on the final lap.
Shackles is
Possibly
using his
even
ERS.
before then.
Shakos, is he using his ERS? No, he's saving it all. I think he's going to dump it all down the straight. He's going to dump it all down the straight.
But it shouldn't. It won't matter because if he it's all well and good dumping it down the straight, but if you've got no traction off the corners, it's not going to matter. He's lost 2 tenths in that corner alone.
Shakos is going to lose the lead. He's going to lose the lead.
Yeah, he will. He's going to lose it into turn 3. And there's going to be nothing he can do about it. It's going to be into turn 2 even. There's nothing he can do. He should have pitched at the same time as the lap after Stefan, then he would actually have a chance here.
Yeah, well,
but as it is, there's nothing Shackles can do. And look at this, Stefan it's just going to breeze past him. Like, he holds him off for now, but he's going to be able to break so much later, and he just cruises down the inside. And
yeah.
and there's nothing Shackles can do about that.
No. And there we go then. Change for the lead on the final lap. Stefan now leads the Hungarian Grand Prix. Shakos, who stayed out on dries, is he going to be able to... I think he's going to be able to hold back Liam quite comfortably.
Yeah, he'll get P2. He'll get P2 here.
Tech support battling away with Jensen then. Jensen always thinking about a move. But of course, with that 3-second penalty that tech support's got, Jensen doesn't necessarily need to be all that aggressive. I mean, you say it's in the bag.
Yeah, he just has to sit back behind.
I think 2 more laps, and Liam Broder, maybe one more lap, Liam Broder would have had Shakos then. As Stefan.
Yeah, most likely.
Stefan.
Although I think if there's a couple more laps, Shakos would have pitted.
I think Stefan has, he's come from a P3 start on the grid today. He's kind of been quietly there in the background, not making all that much noise through the first stage of the race. But he's made the right stop at the right time, made the perfect stop, and Stefan wins the Hungarian Grand Prix.
On the line.
Indeed, he did.
Liam Broder in the final corner.
Just about got Shakos as Shakos finishes P3. Shakos has done an outstanding drive to stay out there on those dry tyres for so long. Especially since they're so old as well. Shakos has done an incredible job. Liam Broder makes his way up into P2. Jensen will finish P4 ahead of tech support with D10 in P6. Giannuzzi in P7. Unitos P8. Petterfly in P9. Luke the Blade in P10. Fuzzle on 18-lap-old softs.
He limps his way home P11.
Yeah, he's gonna... I think he actually is going to finish P11. L-Plan.
He almost held that drift.
He almost held that
drift. That would have been an awesome drift.
L-Plan's going to crash before the line. And there, and Swept-Back Flame and Power GT jump up positions as Rocky has penalties, and Haas rounds off the order. Well then, drive of the day. This is the thing. It's going to be really tight because there was some...
It could be literally anyone.
I know. There was nobody really made up all that many positions. To be honest, and
I think the most positions gained would be Unitos, but I just said tip and never listen to
Why would you ever listen to though? No offense, we love you. I just don't even know who to give drive of the day to, because I'd love to give it to Jensen because he made up a good amount of places, but he got involved in a number of collisions. I'm gonna give it to Stefan. I think he just made the right decisions at the right time, played his cards right, and just...
I want to give it to Shakos, but at the same time he did lose 2 positions.
I know, that's the thing.
I think he was the best. He was the best driver on the track throughout the entire race. He just couldn't get it when it mattered.
I don't know how he survived so long, but my goodness. Well, I think...
Yeah.
Haas telling telling Haas to stay out is... was trying to get him outside of the points, because genuinely Haas could have found a good amount of... He could have actually probably finished quite high up the points. But anyway. Well, I want to say a big thank you to everybody for watching the stream today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. It was a wonderful time to be back in Season 4. But, well, let's hope for an even better race next week. If we can top this racing event, it would be incredible to watch. But, well, I hope everybody does have a fantastic week. And I hope to see you back here, maybe for Saturday. Hopefully, definitely for Sunday, where we can see these 20 drivers go wheel to wheel yet again to see who can perhaps take leads of championships, win races. And well, a big thank you to Numi Korn for joining me in the co-competition today. I hope everybody has a great rest of your week and enjoy the stream. And good night, and we'll see you next week.